All right, let's talk about that alphabet soup of technology. AR, VR, MR, XR. It feels like there's a new R to keep track of every other week. And then you hear a term like spatial computing, and you think, what on earth is that? Well, if you've ever felt a little lost in all the jargon, you're in the right place. We're going to clear all of that up.
Yeah, this is the big one, right? You hear these letters thrown around all the time, and honestly, it's easy to get them mixed up. But here's the good news. It's not as complicated as it sounds. We just need a simple way to think about it. So let's build that mental model together, right now.
Okay, so before we dive into AR versus VR, let's just zoom out for a second. All of these things, they all live under this one big umbrella called Immersive Technologies. And really all that means is any technology that blends our real, physical world with a digital one. That's it. That's our foundation, the starting point for everything else.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. We're going to build this out step by step. And we'll start with something super familiar, something I bet a lot of you have already used, maybe even today, without really thinking about it. First up, Augmented Reality, or AR for short. The name kind of gives it away, right? It's all about augmenting, or adding to, the world that's already around you.
And this is the most important thing to get about AR. It doesn't replace your world. It just adds a digital layer on top of it. You're looking through your phone's camera. You still see your living room, your desk, everything. But now, there's a digital object in it with you. That's AR in a nutshell.
And like a lot of us first saw this with games, right? Pokemon Go was huge. Seeing a little creature pop up in the park was a real wow moment. But honestly, where AR is really changing the game is in much more practical ways. Things that actually help us with everyday tasks.
I mean, it's already in your pocket, and it's totally mainstream. Think about shopping. How many times have you wondered, will this look good on me? Well, with AR, you can use your phone to try on shoes from Converse or test makeup from Shiseido. This isn't some futuristic sci-fi stuff. It's happening right now, making shopping way easier.
And it's not just for things you wear. It's for your home, too. You know that feeling of buying a couch and just hoping it fits in your living room? Well, apps like IKEA Place let you see that exact couch, to scale, right in your space before you even click buy. It's all about taking the guessing out of the equation.
Okay, so we've got AR. It adds to our world. Simple enough. So what's the flip side of that coin? Well, that brings us to virtual reality, VR.
All right, listen up, because if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. This is the absolute core difference. AR overlays digital stuff onto your real world. VR replaces your real world entirely. One is an addition, the other is a complete substitution. That's the whole ballgame right there.
So, with VR, we're not talking about your phone anymore. You put on a headset and suddenly, your living room is gone. Poof! You're standing on the surface of Mars, or you're swimming with whales in the deep ocean. You are completely and totally somewhere else. That sense of presence, of being fully immersed in a new place, that's the magic of VR.
And yeah, gaming is obviously huge in VR, but the really mind-blowing stuff is happening elsewhere. Imagine being a surgeon and getting to practice a super complex surgery a dozen times in a perfectly realistic, zero-risk simulation before you ever touch a patient. Or helping someone overcome a phobia in a controlled virtual world. That's where VR becomes a truly powerful tool.
All right, so we have AR on one side and VR on the other. Now let's look at the terms people use to try and bring these two ideas together and organize the chaos just a little bit. So, you'll hear the term extended reality, or XR. The easiest way to think about this one is just the family name. It's the big umbrella that covers AR, VR, and anything in between. So if it's a technology that's altering your reality visually, you can call it XR. It's the catch-all term for the whole spectrum. Okay, deep breath. Now we get to the one that messes everybody up. Mixed reality, MR. And there's a good reason it's confusing, because honestly, it kind of has two different meanings, depending on whether you're talking to an engineer or a marketing department. This really helps put it all in perspective. Think of it like this. Immersive technology is the whole universe. It includes everything, even non-visual stuff like 3D audio. Within that universe, you've got the extended reality, or XR galaxy. That's all the visual stuff. And then inside that galaxy, mixed reality, or MR, is like a specific solar system. It's a subset of XR, and you can think of it as, well, like AR on steroids.
So let's break down those two meanings of MR. The technical definition is really cool. It means the digital objects are smart enough to actually interact with your real world. So a virtual ball doesn't just float in space, it can actually bounce off your real-life table. The device understands the physical space. Now, the commercial definition is usually a lot simpler. It's often just a label for a headset that can do both AR and VR.
Okay, we're almost there. There's one last piece to this puzzle, and it's a big one. It's the concept that makes all of this, AR, VR, MR, actually work. Let's talk about spatial computing.
This is a really important shift in thinking. If AR, VR, and MR are the display, what you see with your eyes, then spatial computing is the engine. It's the brains behind the whole operation. It's the part that's constantly scanning, mapping, and making sense of the physical space around you, so that the virtual stuff can exist in it believably.
And this brings us to a perfect real-world example, Apple's Vision Pro. Why on earth did they decide to call it a spatial computer instead of just, an MR headset? It's a great question, and the answer tells us a lot about where this is all headed.
Well, there are really two big reasons. First, and let's be honest, it's a genius marketing move. Apple is planting a flag and claiming spatial computer as their territory. But, and this is key, it's also technically right. The device is doing way more than just showing you things. It's watching your eyes, tracking your hands, and constantly processing the world around you. It's computing within three-dimensional space. By calling it a computer, Apple's saying this isn't just an accessory, this is the next computer.
So, okay, we've gone through a lot of letters and definitions. Why does any of this actually matter? What's the big takeaway? It's this. This is about so much more than just cool headsets and new video games. Check out this number, 27. What is that? That's the number of different platforms, phones, consoles, headsets, you name it, that a major game engine could build these experiences for. And that was way back in 2018. This tech isn't some far-off dream. The tools to create these blended worlds are already everywhere.
Which really leaves us with one final big question. The lines between our physical world and our digital world are blurring more and more every single day. So the question we have to ask ourselves isn't if these realities will blend together, it's how we want them to. And that's not just a question for engineers and designers anymore, it's a question for all of us.